So for this year I have a project lawn. I promised my in-laws that I will fix their lawn. Their lawn is so full of weeds and it's so bumpy, it's not level whatsoever. So I said I'll try to help them sort it out. So on 12th of June we actually started working on it, and today it's August 14th. So in this video I'm going to show you what we actually did to the lawn, and then afterwards we'll go over there and have a look how it looks today. And I promise you'll be surprised how it looks today, but I'm not going to tell you too much. Let's first have a look what we did to the lawn, and then we'll come back and have a look. So I'm back at my in-laws. So this will be my project lawn for this year. I said I will try to sort it out. They actually have more weeds than they have grass, I would say. And the approach to fixing a lawn like this, especially in Sweden where we're not allowed to use any herbicides, is to just make the conditions better for the grass to grow than the weeds. So that will be the approach. We'll see if we can sort it out. I'm not sure. I'm not going to start over with this lawn. We'll just try to sort it out as best as we can. So let me just show you quickly how the lawn looks at the moment. It's kind of hard for the camera to see, but I mean, most of this is just clover. I mean, look at this. There's actually more clover than there's grass. It's all clover. Clover and a lot of poa. See? This is all just poa. It's also so uneven. I mean, it goes up and down, up and down. And normally I wouldn't really care about that stuff if it goes up and down, but I said I'll try to level it out since my mother-in-law had a stroke a couple of years ago, so she can't use one of her legs that well. So she's having a hard time actually walking on this since it's so uneven everywhere. So I said we'll try to level it out. Things we have done is we've done some hollow core aeration using the manual Swordman. I haven't done it, my father-in-law has, and he found out quite quickly how hard work it is. He actually did it on the entire lawn manually, so that's actually great, and that's to kind of fight the compaction issues they have. This is one of the most compacted lawns I've ever come across. So as I said, we've done some hollow core aeration, and today we will scarify the entire lawn since tomorrow we have a lot of soil coming. So I want to make sure we scarify it quite heavily, and then tomorrow when the soil comes we'll level it and then reseed a lot of it. All right, let's get going with the scarifying. All right, scarifying on the way. You didn't think I was going to do it myself, did you? I mean, he has to do the work himself. He has to learn. So I think the last time they scarified this was probably 10, 15, 20 years ago. I don't know. It's been a long time. So I'm expecting that he's going to pull up a lot of dead material or just junk. Of course, I was kidding. I'm going to do this part while he starts cleaning up the side area. I think we'll have this done in no time. This tree is making everything so much more fun. If I had an axe, man. Oh. Alright, so we're done scarifying this area and the side. We're just doing another pass on the side, and it's pulling up a lot of material. And I mean, this alone won't solve any weed issues. It's just that it hasn't been done for 20 years or something like that. So I mean, to be able to take away thatch, kind of disrupt the root system of some of the weeds. The problem here is that some weeds do like scarifying. If you cut the roots, they will just grow new ones, like clover, but it still has to be done. I mean, when looking at this, you do wish we could use some type of herbicides. I mean, there's just so many weeds here. But again, it's fun to do an experiment to see if you can actually fix a lawn like this without any herbicides. So what we've done so far is hollow core aerate and scarify. And tomorrow we have a lot of soil coming in, and it's already pre-fertilized soil. It's some type of premium lawn soil I found. So tomorrow we have that coming in. So that's why I wanted to have this done today. And then we'll move on to overseeding. And we have to kind of think about what kind of seeds we want to use because of this tree. As you can see, there's a lot of shade here. From what I've seen coming here over the years, there's not much growing here. I don't think even poa survives under this tree. I mean, as far as what this lawn actually consists of, I have no idea. There's some type of fescue in there between the weeds, but I'm not sure. As I said, I'm pretty sure there's some type of fescue and either Kentucky bluegrass or ryegrass. I'm not exactly sure, but for under this tree I think we'll try out some type of fescue that can handle shade better, because they do have sunlight all over the lawn here and on the side. It's just that they don't get a lot of sunlight under the tree, and of course the tree in itself kind of takes away nutrients, water and everything from the grass. So you need some kind of grass that can handle that. Now I just have to help him pick up all the debris, and then we'll wait for the soil tomorrow. So see you then. We had the soil now. It was 2.5 tons. So we scarified the entire lawn. We hollow core aerated it, and it's now time to kind of get new soil, new life into it. And we have some spots that are just really low. We need to kind of level those out. And then we have this spot. There used to be a plum tree here. So as the roots are decaying over the years, I think they took it away about 5, 6, 7 years ago. So as it's decaying, you kind of feel that there's a hole under there. The soil is just disappearing, but the grass is staying the same. So whenever you just step on it, it just goes down. So I'm trying to dig that out, because this will decay over time and it will be even a deeper hole. So I just want to get rid of as much as I can and fill it up with new soil. So for now we're just putting everything in piles, letting it dry out just to make it easier to drag it around. And then we'll try to level everything out and then reseed it. We'll just overseed it. I'm not going to go and kill it all as I did with my own lawn. We're just trying to fix it as good as we can and make the conditions as good as we can for the grass rather than the weeds. All right, so for this lawn, this soil isn't exactly the same as I used. I used something called K-dress, and it's a much finer, more sandy kind of mix. So this is called the premium kind of lawn soil, I think it was called. So it's already pre-fertilized. It has a lot of sand in it, but it isn't as fine and screened as the other one I have. There is a lot of stones and stuff in it, but it's still really good stuff. And the idea is not to kind of level the entire lawn. It's just that it needs to be flat. I mean, it can lean this way or be as it is, pretty much for the mower to be able to walk over the entire lawn without dropping in any low spots. And the same for my mother-in-law, so she can walk around comfortably without having to go through a lot of holes here and there. So it just needs to be flat. Yep, so that's the idea. So I'm kind of just spreading around all the soil, and then we'll use the leveling rake, spread it evenly. The one thing is that we don't have a garden roller here, so I can't press it down, so I'll just have to keep walking all over it, press it down. Let's continue on. Okay, so my idea of just walking all over it to kind of press it down to see where I kind of need to add more soil, that didn't work. So I had to go home and get the garden roller. All right, so we're done with all the soil, and it kind of looks like everything is all soil, but there were so many low spots everywhere, pretty much everywhere. There were low spots all over the place. So after filling those up, it kind of looks like everything's just soil. The grass that is strong enough, it will come through this. So I don't see that as an issue. So pretty much survival of the fittest. Hopefully the weed grasses won't come through. This is how it's looking at the moment. It's looking pretty good. A lot of soil, but it's looking far better than it did before. Most of the low spots are gone. We still have some low spots here and there, but we ran out of soil. But I mean, as long as the low spots aren't that deep, then you can fix those over the year. Just fill it in with top dress and kind of fill it out over the course of the season. You don't have to do it at once. So when we started out with core aerating the entire lawn with the manual Swordman. So all of those holes we created have new, better soil in them. So this new soil will improve the microlife in the soil and give the soil a better structure. And this will also make any nutrients they will add more accessible to the plants. I mean, there's still a lot of weeds here, but as I said, the whole point of this is to make the conditions better for the grass than for the weeds. So it's not about doing this and then suddenly the weeds are just gone. It will be a long process since we're not using any herbicides of any kind. So the next step here is just to take the seeds, throw down the seeds and have a nice thin layer of top dress on top of it. Then comes the fun part. Then he has to keep that moist for a couple of weeks. And we're in June now, and we're having really hot weather. So that's going to be the challenge for him, but at least it's not me doing it. We'll just wait for the seeds to come, then we'll talk a little bit about what kind of seeds I chose. I didn't choose the same seeds that I have, the Barenbrug RPR ryegrass. I chose a specific seed that I think will fit them better and their needs better. So yeah, we'll pick it up as soon as I get the seeds. All right, so I have the seeds now, and for under the tree where we have a lot of shade and maybe not that much nutrients because the tree will take most of it. I've chosen a shadow mix from Exceed. So this contains mostly creeping red fescue and hard fescue, and there's some Kentucky bluegrass in there too. But these are grass types that doesn't need that much nutrients and they don't need that much sun to survive. So I think it will be good around the tree and under the tree, because as you can see, it's going to be a lot of shade there. And for the rest of the lawn, I will be using a mix that is mostly creeping red fescue and Kentucky bluegrass. And that's because it's slow growing, they don't need to maintain it as much. There's some ryegrass in there too, but I mean that's normally a typical Swedish lawn, creeping red fescue and Kentucky bluegrass and rye. So those are the seed types I will be using. So now let's just seed the areas we need to seed and then put down a layer of top dressing. So let's get on with that. I actually managed to do this on my own bag and I reseeded my lawn. This time it doesn't work. Oh! Expert! Alright, so I put my father-in-law on Landsy duty, just putting a nice thin layer on top of the seeds so they don't blow away. They get good seed to soil contact, and this top dress will help keep moisture better so you don't have to water it as often. But I mean, you gotta love the Landsy. I mean, look at this. How are you ever going to get this by doing it manually with a rake or something? It's just not happening. Such a good thing, but I know it's expensive. Alright, so as you saw, the last thing we did there was to water all the seeds. And today, as I said, it's August 14th, so it's been a couple of months. So first I'm going to show you how the lawn looks today. Don't be shocked. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about why it looks like this. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about the next steps for this lawn. So let me just first show you how it looks. Alright, so this is how the lawn is looking today. As you can see, it looks pretty awful. I mean, look at this. It's not looking good at all. It almost looks worse than it did before. Well, not almost, it does look worse than it did before. It's not even green anymore. But one thing that is different from last time, at least, is that it is more leveled. We don't have as much low spots as we did before. At least we managed to make it more level. But other than getting it a little bit more leveled and getting rid of some clover and other weeds, it hasn't improved much. It's pretty much looking worse. So then of course comes the question, why is it looking like this? One of the things, as you can see, it's really hot out today. It's close to 90 degrees, so about 31, 32 degrees Celsius, and that's in the shade. So it's been really hot these last couple of months. And the issue is that it's been consistent. I haven't seen that much rain. It's rained 2 times in the last 2 or 3 months. And that's not normal for Sweden. Normally our summers are more wet than this, but that's the case for most of Europe. I mean, we are having a really dry summer, and for being mid-August, we're not used to having this hot weather. So one of the issues is that we didn't keep up with the watering during June and July. It just got too hot and it wasn't worth it. So as soon as we were done with seeding and watering everything, then vacation period started. We had really high temperatures and consistent high temperatures. So we just decided it's not worth it to try keep the lawn moist for another 2-3 weeks, especially since we had fescue and Kentucky bluegrass. So mistiming. We shouldn't have done this late in the season, but I had my own lawn to take care of and we barely had any spring. So I wanted to try if it would work. And obviously it did not, since the lawn is looking like this. So just because I'm filming this and putting this on YouTube, I'm not gonna just show you the times I do succeed. I'm gonna show you the failures as well, because it's an important lesson to learn. I mean, now you know seeding in June is really hard. I mean, I did it on my own lawn a couple of weeks before. We had lower temperatures by then. We even had rain one time, so it worked. And I had ryegrass, which kind of came up pretty quickly. This lawn was Kentucky bluegrass and creeping red fescue for the most part, and you need to keep that moist for a longer period. And as soon as we seeded this, as I said, we had a consistent hot weather. So to keep this moist, you would have had to keep watering 4, 5, 6 times a day. And by then it's just not worth it. I mean, you're gonna do nothing else on your vacation but watering the lawn. And it happens. I mean, it's not the end of the world, as I said, we at least got it more leveled. We got rid of some of the weeds by scarifying it a couple of times. So we're just gonna keep at it this fall. So hopefully in September we can start reseeding it again. So just for future reference, if you're seeding Kentucky bluegrass or creeping red fescue and you have consistent 90 degrees temperature, so above 30 Celsius, not a good idea. I mean, look at this. Good thing I said I'm a lawn expert. I'll fix it, no worries. I bet they're regretting it now. But don't worry about it. I mean, these things happen. It's a lesson learned. It's always fun to try at least. If you never experiment, you don't know what's possible or not. So all right, so we'll pick this up in the fall as soon as the temperatures cool off. Then we'll continue on with this lawn, and I'll promise you guys, I will turn this lawn around. I have no doubt whatsoever that I'll manage it. So I'll come back here in the fall again, and I'll promise I'll let you guys follow along the journey. And as you can see, I'm not hiding anything or trying to only show you the good things. So hopefully in September we can fix it. So I'll see you guys then, and we'll just continue on.